So welcome once again, and today we are going to start the second chapter, that is reproduction in plants and animals. Okay, so let me tell you first. Let me tell you what is reproduction, okay, and why is it necessary. Then later on we'll explain reproduction and its types. Okay, so reproduction, we know that all living organisms, they reproduce, they give birth, they give rise to individuals of their own kind, okay, for the survival of their species. In the process, the parents' traits or genetic characters pass on to the offsprings, which in turn pass on the traits to their own offsprings. If there is no reproduction, then what will happen? The species will come to an end. Okay, now let us move forward to reproduction and its types. See, basically there are two modes of reproduction: asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Since we are going to study about the reproduction in plants and animals, so we'll start with the plants first. Okay, so let me tell you what is an asexual reproduction. What do you mean by asexual reproduction? See, asexual reproduction requires only one parent, while sexual reproduction requires two parents, or there is an involvement of the gametes. Now, asexual reproduction is a method in which only one individual is involved, while sexual reproduction, two individuals are involved. In the sexual reproduction, like in plants and animals, the gametes, there is involvement of the gametes. In the animals, the gametes are in the form of, the male gamete is the sperm and the female gamete is the ovum. Whereas in plants, the male gamete is the pollen grain and the female gamete is the ovule. Now, let us begin with the asexual reproduction in plants. Asexual reproduction occurs mostly among lower organisms. Lower organisms means organisms such as amoeba, paramecium, can be bacteria, can be hydra. A variety of organisms are there which produces asexually. Okay. However, it can also occur among higher plants and animals. It can take place in several ways. So, some of the methods of asexual reproduction in plants are like binary fission. Binary fission is an asexual method in which a simple division takes place. Simple division in the sense that simple division of unicellular organism into two daughter cells means the same cell divides or splits into two daughter cells such as amoeba, paramecium and the bacteria. Okay. Next is the budding. Budding is also a kind of asexual method very commonly found in the organisms such as hydra and yeast. In budding, what happens? A new organism develops from an outgrowth, that is bud, on the parent's body, and when they grow, they get detached. Next is the fragmentation. Fragmentation means it is also a kind of reproduction or sexual reproduction in which a new organism forms from pieces of the parent's body such as fungi, annelids and spirogyra. Next is the regeneration. See, what is regeneration? Means something regenerates, regrow. So it is the method in which the organisms generally they regrow or regenerate their lost or damaged parts of their body, as in lizard, hydra, flatworms and starfish. Next is the spore formation. Spore formation is also a kind of reproduction or sexual reproduction in which certain organisms they produce spores that serves as a resting stage to overcome unfavorable conditions. Overcome unfavorable conditions means the organisms they produce a spore around their body, okay, just in order to survive in unfavorable conditions. So that is also a kind of method, a sexual method. Next is the vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation, as in certain plants whose seeds fail to germinate, okay. So vegetative propagation is also known as vegetative reproduction. Now, some forms of vegetative reproduction are like the plants can reproduce by underground stems, by means of their subaerial stems, or by means of the leaf buds. So, these are the common forms of vegetative reproduction. Now, you can see here the figures here, the diagrams, the pictures displayed showing some asexual methods. Like on the top we can see the binary fission, then comes the multiple fission. There are certain organisms which go for multiple fission also. Okay, from the same cell multiple cells are produced. Okay, many cells are produced. Then we can see the hydra, how the hydra by means of the budding, the hydra gets detached from the plant's their parent's body. Okay, then we can see the yeast, how they form the chains of buds on the parent's body, and then they are separated, okay, into new cells. Then we can see the spores here, isn't it? The spores forming spores, and then they burst and liberate many cells. Okay, so this is the spore formation here. Now, as just now I said that there are certain modes of vegetative reproduction, like some plants they reproduce asexually, vegetatively, by means of underground stem. We can see that potato, the bulb, the tuber, potato tuber, the rhizome rhizome of ginger, and the bulb of onion. They are modified, underground modified stems. Okay, and this is also a kind of vegetative reproduction. Okay. Next is the, you can see by subaerial stems. Then next we have the leaf buds. It's a very common, it's a bryophyllum. The plant's name is bryophyllum, where we can see on the margin of the leaves small buds arising, and then they grow into new plants. Okay. Now, see, since we are learning vegetative propagation and it is being practiced, so there are certain advantages and certain disadvantages. Now here we are going to understand what are the advantages of vegetative propagation. See, vegetative propagation or vegetative reproduction, it is responsible for, these are the advantages actually, okay. It is responsible for the continuation of plant species that cannot produce viable seeds. So this is one advantage of vegetative propagation. Then next, it can survive unfavorable conditions with the help of subaerial, aerial and underground parts. Next, plants attain maturity earlier than those produced from seeds. It can also be used to cultivate plants with certain desirable features. So these are the common advantages of vegetative propagation. Now, certain disadvantages are also there of vegetative propagation. What are they? See, vegetative propagation results in the production of offspring that have the same genetic or hereditary characters as the parent. This lack of genetic variation creates weaker plants and makes them more prone to diseases and pests. Any disease that the parent plant contracts can be spread into offsprings, resulting in destruction of the entire crop. Okay, so this is one major disadvantage of vegetative propagation. Next, vegetative propagation allows a plant to produce a large number of offsprings in a short time, but these are not dispersed far and usually grow near the parent plant. There is a kind of overcrowding formed near the parent plant, and this results in competition for nutrients and other resources among plants of the same species. So these are the major disadvantages of vegetative propagation. Okay. So now we come to the end of the session here. In the next part we'll continue.